Welcome to Well Balanced Kids' latest video. Can you guess where we're going today? That's right, we're going out of this world and into space. What do you like about space and our universe? There's lots to like. It's a big old place, isn't it? I love all the stars that you can see at night when it's a clear sky. There's so many, it's impossible to count them all, but I love them, how they twinkle away. And the thought that we as human beings are made out of the same things that stars are made out of. We are literally stardust. Isn't that incredible? That we are the same, made out of the same materials as stars are. I love that thought, that we're all part of the universe together. I hope you like stars and space too, because we're going to be doing lots in our space yoga today. But before we do our space yoga, it's always important that we warm our bodies up because it's really cold in outer space. And we want to make sure that we're keeping nice and warm. So you ready? Let's get going then. Because we're going to do our sun salutation. And the sun is a huge star, isn't it? That's in our universe. So we need to say thank you for warming us all up. So let's roll our shoulders back, rolling like an asteroid through space, and roll them forwards too. Get our shoulders all nicely warmed up. And hands on your knees and stick your bottom out and look down at the floor so that you're creating a nice flat back as if you're zooming through space. Then hands on the floor and left foot as far back as you can to create that nice lunge position. We're stretching. Imagine you're an astronaut getting ready to do a moonwalk. You'd want to be nice and limber and stretched, wouldn't you, for that? What was the saying? It's only one small step for mankind, but a huge step for humanity. Maybe this is the huge step that we're doing now in our plank pose. And down onto your knees and curl up like an asteroid going through space. Can you imagine that you're a rock hurtling through space? And draw your nose up the mat and look up like a sphinx, looking high into the sky, looking at all those stars. And curl your toes under and push back. Push back into our downward facing dog and stretch out those legs. Give that dog a good old walk. Push and get that back nice and straight. Then left foot forward to lunge on the other side. Pretend you're in that astronaut suit and it's big and bulky. Oh, we're getting limbered up now. Bottom out, flat back. And rise our hands up to the ceiling, up to the stars, as far as you can, with your shoulders down. Say thank you to the sun and to all the stars and the planets out there that enable us to live on Earth. Let's do it one more time in our astronaut suits so that we're ready to go exploring in space. So round those shoulders, stretch up to the stars. You can maybe look at them, maybe lean back a bit to look how amazing they are. Hands on your knees, flatten your back, looking straight down. Then let's get into that lunge position, stretching out those legs and into high plank. So we've got to build up our strength if we're going to be an astronaut exploring space. And this is a great position for building up your strengths in your arms and your legs. And down onto our knees like that asteroid falling through space. And then bring that nose up the mat and stare at those stars. Aren't they beautiful? Curl your toes under. Push back into downward dog pose. Really push back from your hands. Try and get those heels as close as you can to the floor and really straighten out that back. Then left foot forward, lunge on the other side. This astronaut's ready for action. And bring your feet together, flatten your back, hands up to the stars. And thank you, sun, for being there, keeping us warm. So, first of all, we're going to be a shooting star going through space. Have you ever seen a shooting star? You can make a wish on them and supposedly your wish will come true. I wonder whether that's worked for you. Let's be a shooting star then. So let's get one foot really well grounded on the floor and bring our hands out as if they are the trail the star creates. And then let's lean forward as if we're shooting through space. And maybe that's all you can do. But maybe your star is going faster and further, and it can go a little bit further than that. So let's lean forward, get a good balance, and then go down, trying to keep your legs and arms straight. Can you go further? How far can you go? And could you stay there when you got there? Shall we try the other side? Some days our balance is better on one foot than another. So maybe you can stay on one foot better. So get a really firm grip with your foot so you feel really solid. Bring your hands up high, your shoulders down, and then just lean forwards. And if you can only do this, that's fine. Give yourself another go. Bring up and keep staring down. Find your drishti point, your point of focus, and see how far you can go without falling over. I couldn't get very far that time, could I? My balance was all wobbly. I'm going to try one more time. So, keeping focused, down we go. Shooting star. Can we go forwards and feel like your hands and legs are being stretched in opposite directions? Oh, that star shot through space. Did you see? We're going to zoom like a comet. So we've had one asteroid going through space. Do you know what an asteroid is? It's a piece of rock from space, from a planet going round and round. And now we're going to be a comet, which is like a burning star, a star that's dying and it's in its last embers and it's flying through space. So we're going to stretch our legs out wide with one foot turned to the front and one foot turned to the side, and the front knee slightly bent. And we're going to bring our arms up to shoulder level. And then we're going to imagine that we're a comet zooming through space. So imagine all the fire coming out from your fingertips, burning, burning, burning as it goes flying through the space and the universe. Is your comet burning brightly? Mine's super fast. Should we try the other side? Turn around now. Bring the feet the other way. Bring up your arms and let's see that fire burning, burning, burning. Imagine someone's holding your hands and they're stretching them as far as they can, pulling on both hands, stretching as the comet flies through space. Wow, it's good, your comet. That's looking fantastic. So maybe there are other things in space too that go swirling around and looking around, like satellites that revolve around planets like ours, sending messages, capturing information. So we're going to be a satellite, and we're going to be going up And we're going to be going round and up again, as if we're orbiting planet Earth. Can you do that? Reach up really, really, really high, and then swirl down by the sides and down and round. One more time this way, because they're going around the Earth, collecting information, pinging it back to us and back. And now let's do the other way. Round and down and up. Round the Earth, anti-clockwise. Round and down and up. And then perhaps the satellite goes straight down over the Earth and not round at all before coming back up. Maybe it's going from England all the way to New Zealand on the opposite side of the Earth and back up. Sometimes when you look out at night, you can see, as well as stars, you can see the odd light of a satellite if you look really, really closely. But the thing you can usually see when it's dark are the stars, big, bright, shining stars. So let's become those stars. Get those legs as wide as you can without falling over, and then bring your arms up wide as you can and stretch them like someone's pulling your arms and legs in opposite directions, because you're a star and you're shining bright and you're taking up as much space as you can, because you're a bright, shining ball of gas. That's what stars are. Yes, that's right. Big balls of burning gas that shine so brightly we can see them down here on Earth. So I want to see your big ball of shining gas that wants to be seen millions of miles away. I want to be able to see you through the computer and see you stretch, stretch, stretch. That's right. Oh, and now shake off your star. So if we're on Earth and we want to really look at the stars really closely, we might choose to go somewhere and look through a telescope. Can you see your telescope getting bigger and bigger and bigger, looking up at the stars? Maybe you might go somewhere called an observatory, where there's a really, really big telescope that you can see really, really far away, really see the stars in detail. So we're going to become an observatory. They often have domed roofs that open up, through which the big telescope pokes through to look up at the night sky. So for our observatory, want 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. So the back foot slightly on an angle and the front foot is straight ahead and slightly bent. And we're going to lean down, we're going to clasp our hands behind us, because this behind us, our hands, is going to be the big telescope. And we're going to lean forward, our body's the big dome of the observatory, and then we lift up our telescope. So you can almost rest your chin on your knee while your telescope is up in the air. And then it comes slowly back down. And up we come. Let's swap over onto the other foot. So, other foot forward, other foot slightly back, bent knee, facing forward, so our bodies are facing right forwards. And we've got our hands clasped behind our backs. And then lean forwards to make your observatory shape. Bring your chin to your knee, and then slowly the dome opens and up comes the massive telescope to look up at the night sky. And maybe you can look at planets and stars through the big telescope.
and down it comes, and back up we come. We could also see other things from the telescope, couldn't we? Not just stars, but different planets. Like here we've got Saturn up here with its rings. And I think maybe the blue one might be Pluto or Earth. Who knows what these planets are supposed to represent? But we could also look and maybe see the moon, which is a small planet that goes round Earth, doesn't it? And we see it at night. So let's do a moon shape. So put one hand on the floor and bring the other one up. And let's curl over to one side, creating a crescent moon with our bodies. Can you feel that lovely stretch as with a moon in the night sky? And then bring up your hand. And let's do the other side. So let's bring over and let's bring down and make our curved moon on the other side. Maybe you can go all the way to the floor and make it a round moon. Or maybe you need to just stay up here. That's fine too. Whatever feels comfortable for you. So we've seen stars, we've seen the moon, we've seen planets. What are we going to do next, I wonder? Well, you can orbit the Earth like an asteroid, couldn't we? We could become one of these rocks or one of these planets. So let's curl up into a ball and become a planet or an asteroid circling the universe. So what we're going to do, spread our knees out wide and bring our heads to the floor and bring our hands to our feet and curl up as if we are an asteroid or planet, curling through the space. Or perhaps we could curl up another way to be a planet. We could curl up on our backs, bring our knees to our chests and bring our head to our knees so that you're tight like a little ball and roll back and forth like a little space rock through the universe. I do like a good roll. It must be nice rolling through space with all those stars around you. Or maybe you might decide you want to be a star, flat on the floor, just resting and gazing at all the other stars. How many can you see? I can see lots of bright ones in lots of different shapes. Perhaps you know the names of the different shapes of the stars, Orion's belt, or the plough, or the Seven Sisters. You can look them up if you don't know. They're all in the sky at night. Even when the clouds are there, they're behind the clouds. The stars are so beautiful. I could lie here all night looking at them. But we're going to end it there for today. So bring up your knees, turn them to one side and gently roll over and push yourself up. That's our space yoga for today, because we're going to do our mindful activity now. So for today, I have something that we're going to have a look at. And maybe you've got something you can have a look at where you are. My daughter likes to collect pebbles from the beach that we live near. Can you see them? This is just a plain black pebble that's super smooth. And this one she picked up because it's a little bit like a heart. And when we're being really mindful of things, we take really good notice of them. So I'm just holding them and I'm just feeling how they feel. And they're quite cool and they're really smooth because they've been made nice and smooth by the seawater. So maybe you can find something around you that you can pick up and look at really closely. What does it feel like in your hand? Is it warm or is it cold? Is it soft and smooth or is it rough and rugged? Is it hard like a pebble or is it soft like a cushion? What does it smell like? These don't really smell of anything. They're just stones. But if I smell really carefully, they smell a bit sea salty. And they make a noise when I put them together, don't they? They could be some percussion. I could make a little tune from them. Can you make a noise with what you've got and what you're holding? Maybe it crackles, or maybe it rustles, or maybe it's really, really quiet. So, looking at things mindfully makes us see all different things about them, makes us look in new ways, like how my daughter saw this was like a heart. Well, like this is so smooth, it looks like a planet that could be going through space. That's why I like being mindful and observing what's around me, because you see things in new ways. So we're going to do our breathing exercise now. And this is a really good way of this breathing exercise of getting more oxygen into our bodies, which makes us feel more alive and energetic and woken up. And oxygen is something that we have lots of in Earth, but very little in outer space, which is why astronauts have to wear their big spacesuits, don't they? So let's breathe in deeply this beautiful oxygen on the Earth's surface that gives us so much life and without which we couldn't live. So take your two fingers and put one against one nostril and breathe in through the other. Then close that nostril and breathe out through the free nostril. Then breathe in, close it and breathe out. Breathe in, close it and breathe out. One more time, get all that lovely oxygen going into your brain and your body. That's called alternative nostril breathing, or up and down the mountain, I sometimes call it, because the air goes up in one side and then comes out the other. It's really good for getting all the great oxygen and air circulating your brain, your head and your body, filling you up with new air and new energy. So it's time for relaxation. So find yourself a comfy spot to lie. Maybe get yourself a blanket or a cushion if you want to be more comfortable. And if you can, lie down on your back with your hands facing the ceiling. And we shall begin. Today, we're going to imagine that we're traveling through space. You have all the equipment you need and you're with people you love and trust, so you'll know you're completely safe. And as you travel through space, maybe you're in a spaceship with big, big windows that enables you to see wide and far. And what can you see? Thousands and thousands of miles of night sky with thousands upon thousands of stars. And maybe in the distance you can see some large planets. Saturn with its rings, Mars with its red earth, maybe the sun far off glowing yellow and orange. Perhaps you can see a shooting star spinning and swirling through space. Perhaps you can see a comet roaring red, leaving a trail behind it of orange and yellow sparks. Maybe you can see an asteroid, a space rock, hurtling through space. Fortunately, it's not coming to us. And so you keep looking out into the amazing wonder that is space, of the universe, and see how big and large it is, and how small and little we are in comparison. And looking back, perhaps you can see planet Earth in green land and blue oceans and swirling white clouds. And doesn't it look small and insignificant amongst all these other stars and planets? Imagine what it's like to be swirling through space, looking at how amazing our universe is. And so I will leave you for 30 seconds to imagine your space journey, starting now. And when you're ready, get yourself up and open your eyes. Bring your hands together. Let's say namaste. Thank you for joining me on my space adventure. I hope you've enjoyed it. The goodness in me sees the goodness in all of you. Until next time, bye-bye.